Hey guys, Renshin here, bringing on the StarCraft commentary. This is gonna be the first set between Hwasin and FlaSh in the round of 16 of the Hana Daetoo MSL 2010 spring season. It's gonna be a match point. I'm gonna get colors and positions out of the way before anything else. At the low left in position, 7 o'clock. In purple, we have Hwasin. Oh my god, the STX have new uniforms, white shirts instead of the usual. Oh my god, I am so happy right now. I hope those are standard fare from now on. FlaSh finishing his motor oil. He's going to be at the upper right hand position in, I believe, was yellow. Yes, indeed, yellow. So, mirror matchup. Isn't it? No, okay, not the only mirror matchup, but definitely not the only mirror matchup in the round of 16, but one of the more interesting ones, one of the more exciting ones. I'm expecting a little less prolonged, insanely forever TVTs in this one. 51, 52, 53 for sinking. Yeah, I'm expecting a little less of the insane amount of, 1 hour long TVT festage that was the baby versus MVP, because that was just half hour of decent StarCraft, 20 hours of boredom, 10 hours of wondering who's going to win in the end. It's just, but still kind of boring overall. It's just not fun to watch in the end, and even worse to commentate. So I bet some of you guys understood why I decided to do more like a casual commentary with pizza and beer and that kind of stuff, because doing it any other way would have just been way too difficult. It took way too much time. So. And I actually also remember that I was casting that game. Completely missed the fact that both players went for proxy rexes. And actually going to be FlaSh doing kind of the same thing. Proxy rex down the middle. So he's going to try to put on some aggressive action. We're going to see whether this is just put there in a funky position to float eventually off, because barracks are really coming down almost at the same time for both players. But we're going to see whether it's going to be for FlaSh to try to go down, put down some sort of aggressive maneuver, try to be a little bit aggressive right off the bat, or they're just going to be there in a position just so we can float it much closer and much quicker to Hwasin's base to act as a constant scout. Now, matchup-wise, Hwasin is a very capable TVT player. His worst matchup, I believe, is against Protoss. It's there where he usually finds his weakness. His TVZ, of course, is excellent, but his TVT is also very good. He's, just good old standard TVT player. He's might not be any sort of specialist in the matchup, but he is a very capable player. FlaSh, meanwhile, is, of course, a monster in every matchup, and TVT and TVZ especially. So both these guys have kind of, in that regard, are a lot alike. But where Hwasin is decent and, even good, FlaSh is insanely good. FlaSh is extremely good. He is, especially in a series, the likelihood of him losing in the TVT is very slight. Actually going to go in there and put on some pressure with this. He also almost picking off a Marine, actually. Doing a great job. Might actually pick off that Marine, but CV comes offline to blockade for the Marine, so that's going to be forced away, actually. But at the very least, he got the scout, saw the factory coming down. Going to be coming in with Marines as well to support. Wondering whether he's going to try just floating that Rex right now. I think he produced one single Marine, but yeah, ran with that, just home, said not to continue the aggressive action. Meanwhile, now going to put down his own command center as he waits for his own factory to almost finish. So I definitely got to favor FlaSh in this matchup. I do, but Hwasin is a guy that can bring the upset, and I don't even know what. I think this is the 8th time in a row that he gets into the round of 16 in an MSL, or was that into the round of 32? God, I don't remember. But Hwasin is a consistently good player in MSLs, particularly. It's been the tournament where he always manages to do something, always manages to go around and, just compete. So, although this might definitely be the wall that he unfortunately got into. If this had been a Zerg player, I definitely would have given him a better shot at it, but I just don't think it's going to be able to take FlaSh down in the series, unfortunately. Oh, interesting. Hwasin actually going to go for some cheesiness. He's actually going to go for a starport, proxy starport at that 12 o'clock position. That's actually in a very good hidden position. I'm not expecting FlaSh to spot that anytime soon at all. So we're going to see whether Hwasin is going to plant that down there and going to go for some Wraith action. Might try to catch FlaSh off guard. We're going to see whether he manages to do that or not. FlaSh getting his own expo up on the opposite side. We saw Hwasin doing the same. So yeah, FlaSh rush into the second gas right away. So he's going to try to support more factories. Try to support more tank production. Has his own starport up there, but he's going to float that away. Okay, never mind. It was Yeah, just have to adjust apparently for the control tower. But meanwhile now going to be Wraiths coming out. But FlaSh, I think, is already starting to work on dropships before anything else. This might be Cloak Wraiths, but I'm assuming this is just going to be early dropship play. And if Hwasin's going for Wraiths, that'd be a perfect for him to go out there and pick off those dropships before they come into play. Academy on the way as well. So FlaSh going for a very, very early start board. So I'm wondering whether he's actually going to go for some sort of interesting tech build here or not. FlaSh has shown lately that he is very much capable of doing something interesting. Probably a dropship here, though, so he might be going just for that early Vulture drop with the full Vultures in there, try to go in to do some economic damage to Hwasin. Hwasin, of course, no engineer or anything that I've seen, so he's overall very vulnerable position. Oh no, control tower blinking, so Hwasin, if nothing else, going to spot and know that there are Cloak Wraiths coming at him. He's just going to fly with that Wraith away. FlaSh should know about the proxy location now, but at the very least, Hwasin's going to know what's coming at him, so he's going to want to getting his second refinery just now, but he's going to want to get an academy out there. He's going to want to get some consultation going, adding an academy and a second starport inside of his main, so he's going to try to fight fire with fire, going to try to get his own Wraiths out there. Now it's going to be Wraith on Wraith, because FlaSh is his own initial Wraith out there, as well as adding his own comp stations. Yeah, FlaSh going to go up there to the 12 and going to spot that. There's another Wraith coming out, but that 12 o'clock starport is going to get spotted. SCV just going to start slowly attacking that. Hwasin actually going to move out with some aggressive action. 2 Marines and 3 tanks. They're not really going to be able to accomplish too much, and FlaSh not going to be able to pick off that 12 o'clock position without some serious support. He just wants to make sure that he doesn't find himself too open. He hasn't really produced much in the way of forces yet. He's taken up rather quickly. I think he was actually putting up an armory there. Not a little too sure. See, Wraith meeting Wraiths. Oh, FlaSh's Cloak Wraiths coming at a good time. So Hwasin resolving wasn't his old Wraiths. No scans yet for Hwasin. His academy's probably up at this point. He's probably waiting on his control towers before he can do anything. Another Wraith gonna catch him with 12 o'clock. So oh man, horrible for Hwasin. Just horrible for him that he went for this 12 hatch proxy, and FlaSh pretty much went for the almost for the natural. Well, not quite the natural, but for a good counter to this. By planning on proxy Wraiths, Cloaked Wraiths without at all. Hwasin, of course, had no idea that that's what was coming at him, and FlaSh had no idea that Wraiths were coming at him. But he was just very lucky that he went for early Wraiths, and that kind of this matchup just fell into his hands. Armory on the way now, alongside a second factory. So I'm wondering whether Hwasin is going to go for upgrades, or whether he's actually going to try to switch up into Goliaths to try to counter these Wraiths a little bit. He should have his comp stations up now, but the cloak energy already out in those Wraiths. So 3 Wraiths out there. Wow, FlaSh is slowly getting a scan already coming in for Hwasin, but he's just going to lose all those Wraiths. Has to have his own Wraiths in there, but no, just not managed to utilize. You do not want to be. You're not in a very good position when you're fighting Wraiths with Wraiths. When you're fighting Wraiths with Wraiths, and your opponent has Cloak and you do not. It's just a very bad position to be in. Even if you have scans, it's just not a good position to be in. Does not help you. FlaSh mostly still focusing on some Wraiths. He doesn't have much in the way of ground forces yet. Still has a couple of tanks out there, but could have actually fallen to some pressure. So yeah, Hwasin actually gonna fly up north, try to go FlaSh, but FlaSh actually stop pursuit there for a little bit. We're just gonna take out this barracks of Hwasin's. Meanwhile, Hwasin's own Wraith couldn't go out there trying to do something. He, meanwhile, did not do any sort of economic damage. He went in the main, scouted everything out, and since then did not do anything. Still didn't in turns out there are some Goliaths alongside those Wraiths down there. Of course, the Goliath, a much, much, much better anti-Wraith unit than anything else. Hwasin, we're going to expand the upper left position already. So you're going to try to take up a quick base. Hope that it's hidden enough. It's going to be a decent position. Adding a turret there would really help him out. Adding a turret at the upper left hand would really help him out. Just turrets really help against those Wraiths. 3 Wraiths out there, SCVs and tanks are moving out from FlaSh, scanning locations. Hwasin with his own scans has a Goliath on the ground, so FlaSh actually going to lose these Wraiths. Wow. Well, he loses only 1. No Charon boosters do not help FlaSh. We're not going to be able to start sieging upon the Natural Expo. Oh, man. And those Wraiths also hopping a bad position for Hwasin to be in. FlaSh just with very nice pressure right off the bat. Manages to catch. Hwasin, unfortunately, just unfortunate with his choice of tech. Decided to go for that proxy starport, just not paying off at all for him. Meanwhile, FlaSh also going to be expanding to lower end position. So economy-wise, Hwasin in a pretty bad position despite him getting his third base up sooner. He's not in a very good position. He's lost more troops, he's lost SCVs, he's not mining much, his Natural Expo is all FlaSh is repositioning himself a little bit with these tanks so he can try to continue doing some damage. And you know, a couple of Goliaths can run right up to the upper left-hand position. They're going to start doing damage there. Just overall perfect game here by FlaSh. Well played overall. Still putting on the constant pressure at this Natural Expo. A couple Goliaths can try to fight back these Wraiths, but those Wraiths utilizing Cloak very well. Commands her the upper left-hand position, not doing much. I don't think that Starport's producing much either. Just SCVs and everything dying there. Hwasin going to try to move out with some tanks and Goliaths. Going to force those more Goliaths of FlaSh's back. So he might go up to the upper left-hand and save it. Has a few SCVs running up there, and FlaSh meanwhile just going to retreat. Make sure he keeps those forces alive, but still he's done a great amount of economic damage. Bunch of SCVs just sitting at the refinery. You know, if anything else, they should actually go out there and be some use. But hey, not a very good position. Not a very good time to be a guy named Hwasin right now, I guess. And I need a sip of water because I'm tired. I want to get this round of 16 over with. I'm so behind on everything. Dear God. Dear God. Dear God. Anyway. First round of 16 anyway. There's still plenty of round 16 to be played. It's going to take a week or two more. I'm not overall too sure. I think there's 2 more weeks of game, which might be a lot of games. Going on FlaSh, actually, you know, while I'm complaining, FlaSh is moving up to the upper left-hand position with tanks and Goliaths. Some Wraiths can meet the Goliaths out in the middle of the ground. They're going to be able to take this up pretty swiftly. Hwasin going to come with SCVs to the upper left-hand position. Going to try to reinforce with his own tanks. FlaSh meanwhile, yeah, deciding not to go for this. Reinforcements are coming in at a good time, but still, FlaSh definitely controlling the game. Has a pseudo contain on the natural, but not a contain, just sort of an assault troop. Meanwhile, Wraith's gonna snap. Ooh, nice there. Hwasin finally has gotten a decent amount of Wraiths out. They're gonna start attacking those tanks and try to start taking them out. Also, actually moving up for the lower position towards the middle. Actually, gonna start clearing up these forces. Goliaths and tanks coming in. FlaSh has some siege tanks there at the south side. Has a Goliath coming in to force those Wraiths away from those tanks. Tanks, let's see. FlaSh actually forces to the left and the right of those tanks, so Hwasin has to be very careful just overall not to get sieged and not to get into that position in that manner. FlaSh going to add additional factories because he's going to be on 3 mining bases right now. Hwasin on 2 because his Natural Expo is not really mining much at all. So Hwasin overall, the longer this keeps going, the worse his position gets. He's not going to be able to support the army he needs. He's not going to be able to support the troops. FlaSh is actually going to move in, try to get in close with his tanks, but you can spot that FlaSh always seems to have reinforcements, always seems to have some army to spare. Actually going to move back with his tanks now from his Natural Expo, deciding to stop this siege. I think he just knows he's done enough damage, and he just wants to make sure that his tanks stay alive. He does not want to, basically be too risky. But I think FlaSh is just overall calculated the entire position. Hwasin and me are going to wall off the upper left-hand position to any attacks from the east. FlaSh still continue Wraith production apparently. Might be switching up into dropships at this point. Not those are too sure. Not sure how safe that is with all those Wraiths out there. Wraith's gonna go out there, meet those tanks, some Goliaths a little bit from the back. No cloaking, no cloaking. Hwasin gonna come in close with these tanks as well. Actually using his Wraiths as sort of distraction for those Goliaths. Meanwhile, gonna go in and clear up a lot of forces. Has even more forces coming in, but I think FlaSh might just have a little bit too much. I'm not going too sure. Has 4 tanks down there, 3 tanks down alongside one single Goliath. Wraiths also in the air. It still stays in there. So I think Hwasin at the very least is gonna be able to clear this up. Has a slight superiority in numbers here. No siege tank fire going off with that Wraith at the very least. Going to take down that tank, maybe. FlaSh is going to go for dropships. Has a couple of dropships moving out there, so he's going to go out there and just do economic damage in that manner. Might actually pick up his mineral. Is going to pick up the 6 o'clock. I think he might actually be thinking of picking up the mineral only, but he's just going to pick up the 6 o'clock. Be very aggressive. He's going to be able to, with a dropship special, he's just going to go in there, going to be able to defend it, no problem. Going to start dropping right, just elevatoring a bunch of tanks right inside of Hwasin's base. Hwasin could lose a lot with that. Factory's going to get sieged. Going to be a lot of tanks, and Hwasin's going to need a lot to fight this back. No Goliath support, unfortunately, for FlaSh here, so you might want some Goliath support just in case. But still, Hwasin's going to be in a bad position, getting a lot of his factories. He'll definitely going to lose these 2 factories at the front before he manages to get reinforcements in. Has some Wraiths coming to do some damage with the Goliath. There is a Goliath on the ground, so Wraith's going to die pretty swiftly to that. SCV's coming off the line to try and engage. What's in trying to come in close. Still, I don't think FlaSh has lost a single one of those tanks that dropped in. Some of Hwasin's factories coming in from the back, and Goliath trying to come in close, but now his main is completely penetrated, and FlaSh actually in a beautiful position. Really taking down 2 factories. Now just focusing down the rest of the production buildings. Beautiful play overall by FlaSh. Domination. really the only way to describe this. FlaSh also not picking up the Tolkok position. He's just going to continue his immense economic superiority and just continue this entire time. Gonna try to drop to the upper left-hand position now, I think. Just continue this harassment. And it's still Wraith trying to be produced with Hwasin. But Hwasin, unfortunately, just this entire thing started with him, with his unfortunate move to go for proxy Wraiths. And FlaSh just had the perfect counter. GG there for Hwasin. But yeah, just since that beginning move that just did not go his way, it was a nice idea, but unfortunately just FlaSh had an idea that pretty much countered that completely. Unfortunately for Hwasin. And just with stellar play and good thinking, FlaSh just managed to completely shut Hwasin down. So unfortunately, just bad start snowballed into a worse ending. That's gonna be it from this group. GG guys for watching that. That's listening. Hope you enjoyed, and I'm gonna move on. Maybe, don't know. We'll see how tired I feel in 2 seconds. Later, guys. Hey guys, Ryan here for StarCraft commentary. This is going to be the second set between Hwasin and FlaSh in the Hana Daetoo round of 16. Hana MSL. Hana Daetoo MSL. Round of 16. Was that what I was talking about? Yeah. This is going to be an odd eye too, and busy as hell lately, but I decided I can bring you guys at least this series. If nothing else. Today I finished all my studying. And FlaSh is going to take a bit of his motor oil, kind of chug it around in his mouth and then swallow it. Way up. Getting to the importance of FlaSh at the upper left-hand position as the red Terran. And of course on the bottom right-hand position as the yellow Terran. So ketchup and mustard today. I'm tired as hell. It's past 1 in the morning and I have an exam early in the morning tomorrow, but whatever, I need a quick rest. 49, 50, 51. Oh, they didn't give me the 51! Oh, bastards. So, anyway. Yeah, I'm sick of Tolstoy, I'm sick of Dostoevsky. Sick of Turgenev, Lermontov, Gogol, Gorky, all of those guys. Chekhov and Pushkin are okay, though. I'm never sick of those guys. But oh, that's the way it is. FlaSh gonna be suspicious this time around, unless this is probably gonna be a forward barracks. Actually, now that I think about it, just gonna send him forward barracks. Not quite sure if he's gonna try to be too cheesy or just very forward barracks. I'm not quite sure whether he's gonna. Yeah, this is a forward barracks to the point of cheese. So he's gonna try to be a little bit aggressive with this, and probably not gonna get spotted by Hwasin. He's probably just gonna run up, gonna put up his own barracks right now, not sending out a scout yet. FlaSh not really going to be able to accomplish much with his initial Marines. Just go out there, but he's going to be able to scout very quickly with Iraq, so it's a good plan. Otherwise, as soon as the CV gets forced away, they're really still going to be able to force the barracks and act as a spotter. And he's also going to want to keep that alive, though. Sometimes I see players flying in with barracks and sacrificing it for scouting, and then you're find yourself not building any factories. Let's see, Hwasin already putting down his refinery, but apparently FlaSh is thinking of expanding off of one barracks. If he didn't do this before in a TVT, it's a little bit more risky to go, but hey, white guy, what's up? Yeah, don't do the finger thing, dude. It's not cool. So there's going to be expansion coming in here. Actually, now that I think about it, I'll probably do the finger thing too, if I was on camera, so whatever. I'm just as lame as everybody else. No need to have any sort of superiority complex. Factory up on the way for Hwasin, and FlaSh is going to be getting his economic advantage done. But I really don't. I think FlaSh is actually going to be ahead. Hwasin not going to spot the barracks, but no, like, oh, okay, nothing coming. Just the barracks sitting there, not even floating off right now. Because FlaSh is getting his CV as a scout right now. But yeah, FlaSh is going to be economically ahead, and I don't think Hwasin's really going to be able to push and do any damage. So unless he like adds in a second fac right now and just pushes it, he's not really going to be able to do much with this. He's going to have a slight troop advantage, but FlaSh is going to be able to ride the wave here, really going for this, for a better strategy for him. Still didn't see a factory out for him though, so Hwasin will definitely have some units out there. He might still get something accomplished if he gets an early vulture out there pretty quickly. He's going to counter expand. But if he gets an early vulture out there, he still might go out and do some harassment. Actually, he might capture some SVs, pick off some SVs at FlaSh's new natural expansion. FlaSh is not going to have much to counteract it. Oaks has a couple Marines out there. We're going to see what actually decides to put on some pressure or not. FlaSh, meanwhile, probably going to be putting down a bunker at his own front. Not quite sure if it's going to be like any sort of might put a supply depot there eventually, but it's going to be a bunker at the front. He's going to want to get some Marines out there. Has, I think, his first factory out there. Hwasin is going to go for his initial Vulture alongside a couple Marines. FlaSh going to have that bunker at the front, so Vulture is going to have a hard time sneaking by. Barracks also finally fill it up for FlaSh. And I'm not quite sure if he's actually going to try to fill it up inside of the main. Just going to fill it inside the natural expansion spot, the factory, and that's it. 2 factories now on the way for FlaSh, and this, of course, where's the economics really kick in now. He's might be delayed, but he's going to be able to have more factories sooner. He's going to be pumping off 4 when Hwasin's pumping off 3. And he's going to also be able to support more machine shops earlier on, so he's going to have a heavier tank army and a heavier teched army as well. He's going to have tanks with siege tanks, and Vulture with both mines and speed. And a large number of both, especially with those 3 factories out there. He's going to have all that before Hwasin has all the upgrades for his, unless he decides to sacrifice some units for tech, but I'm not quite sure. I don't think that's really the way to go. He's adding in his own 2nd and 3rd factory on the opposite side. So no pressure being put on FlaSh, so he's going to be able to sit on the natural expansion for a little bit longer. Going to be forced to floor the barracks away. Actually, yeah, just they're doing that now. Should be putting down his refinery as soon as he decides that he wants to support more than one single machine shop. Probably going to be seeing the same for Hwasin. As soon as the 2nd machine shop pops up, probably going to be seeing the 2nd refinery on the way as well. I thought I saw Academy earlier on, but I think that was just my eyes going blind. You think you're blind. That's a song, I think. You think you're blind. I don't know. I can't sing, so. You think you're blind. Or something like that. I don't no idea who sings that. Anyway. Vulture's also out there from FlaSh, so both players going heavy Vultures to start off. Only one single machine shop. And a couple Marines out there just firing at the barracks to force it away, if nothing else. They're going to be able to get back into the bunker. They actually find themselves a little bit vulnerable outside the bunker while the Vultures now go out there. But FlaSh, unfortunately, no upgrades yet on that. Probably going to work on speed before mines. Especially would be the way to go since FlaSh has his own Vultures out there in quite a large amount. So FlaSh wants 6 Vultures at this point. To FlaSh's 5. The Vulture fight right now, especially with FlaSh being able to close himself, is going to be an overall good position for FlaSh. 4th and 5th factory now up for FlaSh as well. Starport meanwhile on the way for Hwasin. So he's going to try to go for the tech route. He's going to try to maybe go for Wraiths, try to do some damage with that, but might just try to rush to dropships and take advantage of maneuverability before FlaSh can get in there. But he is going to find himself having a lesser unit count on the ground. He is getting his 4th factory up, but he is going to still find himself having a slightly lesser unit count on the ground because FlaSh is huge advantage. 6th factory already on the way now for FlaSh. He's just going to ride on these 2 bases. He's planning on riding on these 2 bases. He's planning on really working these 2 bases or expanding very soon. He's definitely going to work in on this. Really a lot going on these 2 bases. Still doesn't have the 2nd refinery up, so he's going to be very Vulture heavy. Both players very heavy on the Vultures right now. There are going to be Wraiths coming out there for Hwasin. He's going to try to take some advantage of that. And of course FlaSh with nothing to counter and nothing but a couple Marines on the ground to counter air units. So it's actually a good strategy to start off with. He's not going to have any, haven't seen any armory from him yet or any engineering bay. Probably just going extremely heavy on the Vultures before anything else right now. Let's see. La 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 la. A tank out there as well for Hwasin. I'm wondering whether he probably has the upgrades of them. Let's see whether he went for mines first. Tank might actually be an important factor. No mines out there, and there's going to be engagement coming here now. Hwasin with that one single tank probably going to get sniped. Vultures focus on each other, and the tank, of course, doing a little bit of extra damage. Does get sniped now, picked off, but he was in the middle. He was absorbing some hits, and I think Hwasin coming out actually a little bit ahead. Vulture catches another tank there at the back. Actually decided to retreat, but I think maybe they were just pretty much even. Vulture I thought actually Hwasin coming a little bit ahead. Still hiding his race. I heard I think already a couple there waiting on there. Just has to be very careful to reveal those at the right time, because if FlaSh spots those on the way, he's going to get in a lot of trouble. Still doesn't have any sort of anti-airs. This might turn absolutely perfect for him. Getting another engagement of FlaSh. This time has mines though. Picks off the tank though as well. He managed to drag some mines in the tank and possibly pick up a bunch of Vultures. He does so. A couple mines going to go down. He's one. Oh, one tank gets blown up alongside Vulture. And Hwasin has lost every single, I think it was 4 or 5 tanks. He's also lost every single tank that he's made so far. And he's also getting some Wraiths out there. He's really lost a lot of units. FlaSh are going to mine up all over the place outside of Hwasin's base. So if he tries to move up with tanks, that's going to be failure on his part. FlaSh while adding in machine shop right now, going to start focusing on a bit more of a tank heavy army. 3 Wraiths flying out and then get spotted by Vultures. We're going to see FlaSh probably plopping down an army. Vultures. We're going to see FlaSh probably plopping down an army as soon as he has a couple idle SCVs. They're not plopping. There you go. Armor at the upper left-hand position. Still don't see engineering base out there yet for him. So at the very least, Hwasin's going to be able to accomplish some sort of damage. Should be able to pick off some SCVs and such. There are a couple of Marines out there. Academy also on the way. And a second armory on the way as well. So he's going to get some upgrades going. But as long as he keeps away from the bunker, he should be able to do some damage. Going to pick up some SCVs here and there. Should actually focus on trying to do some economic damage so that FlaSh can't support all of his factories. Because FlaSh still very heavy in the Vultures, is just not getting his tanks out there. Really needs to do something with his Wraiths. There are just a couple of Marines are going to be a little bit annoying to these Wraiths as well. Wraiths, really the only thing you have to do right now is just fly straight to the main. Sharp getting off CVs. They don't even have to bother fighting these Marines. Vulture's now going to go out there, do a little bit of mine clearing for Hwasin. Being forced to waste some scans on that. Not really what that type of position he wants to be. Has to be very careful with these tanks. Still a lot of mines out there. Dear lordy. Careful, careful. Oh! This thing, oh! Man, playing risky right there. FlaSh still mining up all over the place, all across the map. So at least he knows exactly the movement that Hwasin's doing. So actually, Hwasin gonna start to try focusing a little bit on tanks. Yeah, just the problem with Wraiths that even if you go out there, even if you have 3 out there and you try to focus on SCVs, it takes you a while to pick off one single SCV. And just in the end, it might not be worth it. But of course, those tanks are being repaired still. So he's going to try to cross the bridges on this northern side with his Vultures. Meanwhile, I think FlaSh has more Vultures out there. So if it comes down to a Vulture battle, FlaSh also, Goliath and they are going to, on the ground, going to force those Wraiths back. And has some tanks on the ground as well. Hwasin has a couple of his own. FlaSh going to siege up. Vulture's going to siege up. Vulture's going to engage at the front. Siege tank going to go fire. But tanks in a larger number out there for FlaSh. One heavily damaged tank at the back there for Hwasin really needs to get repaired. Scans going off for FlaSh as well. Also going to expand the choke arc position. Hwasin can't expand at the 4 o'clock yet since due to the lovely mine situation going on there. And let's see. Just to let you all guys know, I'm not going to bother posting anti-spoilers for the round of 16 simply because I do not. It takes longer to make an actual anti-spoiler video than it takes to make a normal video. So, I just don't have the time for that, nor do I have the patience for that. I'm between exams, StarCraft commentaries, a new website, a girlfriend, a life, work, and just trying to find some free time just to jerk it and have a beer here and there. Between all that, no. Screw your anti-spoilers. Every other commentator but Nuke and I generally do not post anti-spoilers, so just for once, let me have my thing. And those of you whining about putting up video responses, I apologize. I just always forget to do that, and the way that YouTube has remade itself recently has made it even more annoying to make video responses. So again, I apologize. Ray's going to go try and do some harassment, but those Goliaths in there. Those Wraiths are going to become totally ineffectual. So Hwasin in many ways behind. He's just getting his 3rd now, really behind FlaSh. He's a lot more troop damage has been done by FlaSh to Hwasin. And Hwasin overall just not in a very good position. Going to try to expand here at the upper right position. Going to try to take advantage by picking up the double gas. But FlaSh is ready for that. One Vulture in there. Going to go pick that off. Pick off the SV. Hwasin going to clear it up, but still FlaSh knowing at all times, reading Hwasin like an open book really, and just keeping him closed off. This is really FlaSh is going to be able to play a strong, keep your opponent inside his base game, I guess. It's just going to move out a little bit across this middle, and he has more tanks out there, so he's going to be able to engage much better. And Hwasin's still going to be in a lot of trouble, but yeah, FlaSh is going to be able to play a game of control as long as he goes out there and does some damage and keeps Hwasin to lesser bases. If he manages to expand another time, Hwasin's actually going to move across here. The map feels, the minefield has a lot of tanks out there. More Vulture influence coming in here, but catching FlaSh off guard a little bit with Vultures picking off all of those tanks. A lot of Vultures coming from the back, some tanks coming in from the north side, so FlaSh still has quite a few units in there. Hwasin though doing a nice push in here with a lot of those tanks, but FlaSh, unfortunately for Hwasin, has tanks both on the north side and still more reinforcements at the west side. So he's being forced to hold here in the middle with nothing but those tanks. Try to plant mines in close, but still not in a very good position altogether. Is now just getting his 4th base going, and FlaSh still very strong economically. There's more production going on, and ahead on many different counts. Also going to go in here, go for the surround on some of those tanks that were a little bit closer to Hwasin's base. Doing some damage, not quite managing to plant mines enough so that they don't get picked off, but still overall doing a pretty good job. And also going to expand on his, what is that, inside 9 o'clock. So, yeah, kind of the inside 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So, going to pick up yet another base. And FlaSh is really ahead in this game. Really, every single step ahead of what Hwasin tries to do. Just plays a nice, solid game of TBT, and it's really nice to watch that. Has weapons 1 at this point. I think he did cancel his second factory, actually. Second armory, I'm sorry. Did actually cancel that. Was going for 2. Well, not quite sure whether that was an accident or not, but decided against that. So he's going to stick with the singular upgrades, and that's generally what you see in TBT, is just upgrading the tanks, weapons for 1 armory and nothing else. Science facility on the way, so yeah, before he wants to get the heavy upgrades going, he's going to need some of that. He's going to need some of that science vessel action. Still don't see any dropships out there for either player. And unfortunately for Hwasin, going for those raids really did not pay off at all. I think it would have sufficed him better to actually go for a dropship, trying to go for a vulture drop, and try to plant some mines in front of the factory, something like that, do some damage in that matter. And now he's going to be forced to try to hold off bases that really can. He's trying to pick up this upper right-hand position, and FlaSh really is going to be able to shut this down. Only a few tanks in the Goliath there to support. FlaSh is going to get across this base. A few more tanks in there. Let's go Hwasin, but I still think that FlaSh is going to be able to go to the upper end position, despite the fact that Hwasin has some forces at the southern position. Across those bridges, still going to be able to get in very close with those vultures. Going to be able to pick those tanks. Are going to be able to plant mines. He's going to be able to clear up this position. Mines. Oh, going to pick off all those tanks except 1. That's just going to get picked to death by those vultures. Sicivi going to go down command center in a lot of trouble. Hwasin going to come in with a few reinforcements, but oh man, he was also building up base at the 3 o'clock position. That gets picked off. Now the vultures are inside his 4 o'clock, doing damage there, picking off a lot of SCV. So this is exactly what FlaSh needs to do. He needs to deny bases, he needs to do economic damage, just keep control of the map, keep control of Hwasin's economy, make sure he's ahead at all times, make sure he does not get harassed, and he's going to be in a very good position. FlaSh, meanwhile, going to expand below left position, going to pick up his own double gas, and I'm not quite sure whether Hwasin's going to have enough force to really do anything about it. Just now, Engineer be coming up there for FlaSh, actually, so we're going to start getting some turrets out there just in case there are going to be dropships coming into play for Hwasin, but I still think Hwasin just does not have the unit count either to go out there and do some harassment like FlaSh can. FlaSh now also working on his dropship count. I'm going to see, yeah, exactly the same thing for Hwasin, so he might go for dropships at the lower left hand and try to do some damage with that, and also maybe with the ground army, but one single dropship not going to be able to have a large enough payload to really do anything at the lower left hand position. He has some forces protecting that inside 6 o'clock. I feel he might move out a little bit with that. Meanwhile, FlaSh actually going to move across this northern position. Hwasin has a lot of tanks here, but with a lot of vultures to support here for FlaSh. They're going to be able to come in close and absorb some of the damage. We're going to see how close he actually manages to get them. Has tanks coming in from the north as well. So that's going to be a pincer attack right here. Going to finish off all these forces, and Hwasin just dwindling little bit by little bit. Trying to come in with reinforcements to send up. Is going to start mining at the upper right position. Going to try to get up the double gas. But unfortunate for him that FlaSh already picking up the double gas to the low left as well. Hwasin does have more dropships in play from what I've seen. I'm not quite sure how many FlaSh has. I only see 1. Hwasin has 3, so at the very least he's going to be able to do, if he manages to take advantage of that, he's going to be able to have a much more maneuverable army. But I'm not quite sure if he's going to be able to really sacrifice any forces. But pretty much you have to pick up those forces and move them around, you have to pretty much weaken one of your position, and he does not want to take those forces away from the inside 6. That's going to leave yourself vulnerable to. It's basically going to open up extra maneuverability for FlaSh. I mean, one of those 6 what is that? 4 dropships out there, and he does not want to lessen his force on the ground overall. I think he's actually going to reinforce his upper right hand position a little bit. He's also retaking his 3 o'clock, so I think, I'm not quite sure whether that command center is up there yet or not. FlaSh not going to start turning up all over the place, mining up, just keeping those tanks on the ground as well. So in case those drops come in, he's going to be ready. And see at the upper right position, Hwasin finally starting to fully mine there. Still has 4 dropships around. Might want to try to do something with that. If FlaSh decides to take up the 1 o'clock, 12:30 position, I guess, then Hwasin might try to go out there and pick that off. Has some bit of a presence, I guess, at the eastern side of the middle of the map. Those are mostly just a few tanks and his dropships out there, so he does not want to sacrifice much. Might want to go and reinforce that upper right hand. Now some mines that did not go off, unfortunately. A lot of dropping with only 2 dropships. FlaSh comes in there with the ground army as well and picks this up. Forces afoot for Hwasin here. Hwasin coming in very late with reinforcement, being forced to
force the SCVs away, and I think, yeah, commands are going to go down with those Goliaths. Never mind, Charon boosters, not necessary in this case. Commands are going to go down, so Hwasin being completely dominated. So FlaSh just one step away from a 2-0 win in the round of 16. No worries here for him. No worries whatsoever here for him. He's just going to take himself one step closer to an MSL win. He definitely playing just his standard strong self, really. Nothing much else to say. Hwasin still has a larger dropship fleet, but unfortunately just does not have the forces to use it with. He just does not have the army to keep those dropships, active at all times. Because if you go out there and he loses the forces in charge of the dropships actually fleets gonna meet each other. But if he goes out there and loses the forces inside of those dropships, that is gonna mean that he's really gonna weaken himself in a position of the map that he does not want to. FlaSh at this point 4 dropships. So Hwasin thinking of going for a drop, but overall not in a very good position to do so. Tanks on the ground waiting for there to drop. A couple of turrets. Oh! Dropships barely managed to survive that though. For Hwasin still, obviously, really being controlled by FlaSh here. Going to try to pick up the upper right-hand position again. But FlaSh with Goliaths and tanks ready for him. So if you're going to try to go for a attack, it's going to be a little bit suicidal. He's going to want to move in with a ground army first, try to pick off those Goliaths, and then move in with dropships. But FlaSh going to have reinforcements ready for that. Has an army moving across the ground. Has dropships as well. So I really don't think this attack is going to be a successful. FlaSh pretty much in equal terms now. Going to go with dropships first. Going to lose a couple of those. Drop some tanks, but FlaSh with a response in seconds. Hwasin going to come in with a ground army as well. We're going to siege him up. We're going to see how successful it's going to be. Still has some dropships out there. Actually, I think getting killed. It's going to be able to clear up most of this though. But FlaSh is doing more reinforcement coming from the ground. But I still think Hwasin's going to be able to clear up this position. But it's only it's only moments before FlaSh comes in here and cleans this up. Has more tanks across the bridge. Has those dropships. Is going to just needs to go out there and fill because he's going to be able to. He has the forces to go out there and refill his dropships. He has the production. He has the economy. Also picking up the 12 o'clock position for himself. So FlaSh totally dominating this game. The double gas, the low left-hand position really coming in handy. Hwasin trying to pick up the inside 6, but I'm not quite sure how well he's going to be able to take that on hold because as soon as FlaSh spots that, he's going to be able to take advantage of it. Hwasin yet again trying to push up with dropships and tanks, but still at this point, FlaSh now has a larger dropship fleet, so the only thing that was going to Hwasin earlier is just going to get picked up. Yeah, just going to start dropping in a line here with tanks. Pick up a lot of those tanks. Hwasin is also tank moving from low. Absolutely beautiful dropship play here from FlaSh. Going in just slow. He knows at this point just needs to keep the army count of Hwasin low. Continue denying bases and keep the army count low. And he's going to be in good position. Hwasin, meanwhile, has picked up the position at the upper right-hand position. He has actually picked up control at the upper right-hand position, but unfortunately he's just not floating his command center there. It's not quite mining anything from that position. And he's just in very bad shape. Actually, fortunate for him, he's going to now put up a defensive... He had a defensive perimeter... Pedometer? No. Perimeter at the 6 o'clock position. So we're going to see how strong that's going to be overall. FlaSh with a huge dropship fleet at this point. I think those are all full. Most of them anyway. Going to start mining at the 12 now. See a bunch of those SCVs being moved around. And FlaSh, of course, with the usual insane micromanagement skills. Now going to see a drop. Going to come in. He just needs to hold off. There's actually 2 bases he can drop upon. He's actually going to go for this 4 o'clock. A little bit risky. Actually, oh no, he's going to go straight for the main. Oh, lordy. This is a Terran recall or something. Scan's going to come off. He's going to go for a full drop here. Just going to try to go for the production at this point. Didn't really need to do this. Feel a drop. This was kind of unnecessary, but he's just going to pick off some supply and production. But I really feel just economic damage would have sufficed. He really just needed to take control, but he's going to try to go for a partial finishing blow here. This, of course, is also going to make a massive distraction for Hwasin. He's going to be forced to come back home, clean this up, send a bunch of his forces that he needs across the map. He's going to open up a position for FlaSh again as well. Absolutely beautiful play from FlaSh. He can use this as a distraction, nothing else. I think he lost a lot of his dropships in this little farce of his. Well, actually, okay, never mind. He still has a lot of them out there. Now he's going to be able... Oh, yeah, see? Now these 3 and 4 o'clock positions are absolutely open to any sort of harassment. So FlaSh is going to drop on that. Just going to do a bunch of damage here. 3 or 4 o'clock position now going to be sacrificed to the gods. FlaSh going to basically take all the forces that Hwasin has left and crush them into liquid motor oil he's going to use for himself. I was searching for something to say and I found Motor Oil. Oh well, I don't know. After reading Russian literature for what has it been today, 10, 12 hours, something like that, it's just your mind's kind of numb to the world around you and what's happening right in front of you. So I apologize about that, people. Should actually be sleeping now, but I don't know. I'm awake, so surprised this game is actually still going on. Hwasin, of course, knows the minute he GG's is out of the tournament, but there's really no chance for him to get back into this game. He's been absolutely totally down. Almost no forces at his upper right hand. Being forced to pull his SCVs. They're not going to manage to do much at all for him, and Hwasin now has completely and utterly lost. He does not have the army or the forces engaging with SCVs at this point. Tanks coming in from the south, but they actually might be just enough to finish off the last of this tank force with the help of those SCVs. But of course, at what price? FlaSh going to move in with reinforcements, be able to mop this up as well, going to be able to deny that upper right hand finally and completely for the final time. And of course, this entire match, Hwasin has not managed to do any sort of economic damage to FlaSh at all. It's been FlaSh dominating the pace, FlaSh dominating the game, and FlaSh just dominating, pretty simply. It's what he does. But he's got to say, FlaSh is looking strong overall, looking strong in the OSL, looking strong in the MSL, just looking strong as a player overall. Really lucky in his play late, going to be able to pick up the upper right hand for himself, and this is just the final nail in the coffin here for Hwasin. He's not managed to pick up and hold enough bases this entire game. He picked up that inside 6, but that's been his only base that's gone unharassed this entire game because he has a presence there. And finally a GG coming in from him, so FlaSh going to pick up the win here and move on to the round of 8. Sorry for my lack of excitement, guys, but it happens sometimes. I'm just But yeah, solid win overall for FlaSh. I kind of hope that Hwasin would have gotten a non-TVT or non-TVT opponent, maybe a Zerg. Would have been a bit more exciting, I feel, but you take what you get. So FlaSh going to move on to the round of 8. And GG, guys, for wrenching out. That's listening. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys later. And I do apologize, but I'm going to try to get all those games out there on Tuesday and Wednesday before the round of 8 starts, which is on freaking Thursday, dear God. But we're going to have all games out there Thursday at the latest. So, later, guys. GG, as always.